So previously I presented a UI that filters data by events. So that events are recorded in the game table in the LTB sheet. So the events, the check, surround the king, open, capture. So you can filter the data and go to those events. If you want to review how many lines is labeled as checks or how many lines were labeled as open, and then it will return all the lines both in EV1 and EV2. So it looks for that event label in EV1, and if not, also in EV2. So this UI dashboard, that I'm presenting, it's the scorecard. But before, it was recorded only for use as a text display. So that if you go to any line number, it will tell you once again why that one was selected, what's the composition of the points that make it the highest. But that's only true if it's computer by computer. If it's a manual gameplay, it may not be the highest. It could not, but it will return the scorecard of that move that was selected. And then, so I added 2 more game lines table. That was a while ago. Because I only have the first game line table, but then I was like, I want to record more data. I actually want not just a text, but a breakdown, like all the values in each column. I want to work with that data. So this is recorded. So this UI dashboard is referencing that game lines table. And I did make an attempt to kind of describe each category by actually entering like what the formula is. So I have that portrait dashboard, and I enter line by line, the logic. But then what I found is that it says here that as I play more games, as the games were played, errors or adjustments need to be made. Errors were detected. There's a constant updating after each game, and it's so hard to actually keep track and be like, okay, so this category is this. It's hard to keep up with the updates and the changes. So I have to be very diligent in recording each adjustments. So there has to be a better way to do that. If I want to revalue, like if I want to like remind me again what this category is all about, and by recording each values, so by creating that game line table 2, there's actually enough information here to understand how each categories how each categories play out in the live games. Just the fact that for each category it can return to me the minimum values that has been executed, or the maximum. So the minimum, the maximum, and the count, like how many times it appeared in the game. Also, which line did it begin? Because so what is the point range, the minimum, the maximum? That's the point range. So yeah, how many times it occurred, which line, when it occurred, and also which categories was the most punishing or the most rewarding. So obviously capture risk, that's a punishing category. It punishes that, it decreases the points if you're going to destination in which you're going to get captured. Also, if we want if we want a dynamic gameplay, then it punishes, I think, after the 20th line, it punishes moves which was quite often or was frequent. So it doesn't, it tries to force the system to pick all other pieces. You can't just pick the same. So, and then you can choose in this UI dashboard, you can then choose the category you want to examine, and it will return all the lines in which that category occurs. And then also it tells you so if you enter the number, if you enter the line number, you can examine, it will return back the board positions, the scorecard, and then the top 20 selections, and also the previous 10 lines beginning from the selected line. So here, for example, so if we go back to the table of that category, you have castling, protect the same pawns, and stalemate, penalize, capture. It's 0. It did not occur. So that's an example of what you can easily, like, at a glance, see in this dashboard. So protect the same team pawns, protect your own pawns. That's a rare occurrence because it actually just protect the pawns that are 3 spaces away from promotion. So if you don't have that scenario, then it may not appear. So that so with the fact that checking the king has the highest, capturing and checking, it's more of an aggressive play that oftentimes pawn promotion isn't that doesn't usually occur, but it's not infrequent. It does. It's not the most important. So, and we have here, so and also the lines where it begins and ends, awarding points to less used piece and penalizing regular moves doesn't occur until after the 20th line. So some of these categories have a time condition. So some ends at 40th, like the opening ends at the 40th line. Most likely it ends at the 20th for those opening lines which are less than 5, which are up to 4 lines. But the 40th was an extension because with that, because most of the opening formations, to give those with more than 5 lines to also be formed or detected. So that might be a controversy. It's like that's not really a beginning game because 40 lines or 20 standard lines is not an opening. And then here, good enough. So this UI dashboard says good enough information, has good enough information to help the chess designer to think about evaluating how each category's point system achieve the goals of this game. So you have enough information to make that decision. Then this is evaluating the moves that were executed or selected. So that is the weakness of this dashboard, is that it's actually just evaluating the moves that were selected, so not all occurrences. So GL3 says that GL3 has a summarized data for each category in every executed line, but that is also just a text display, and that will be the next presentation. So, but this UI dashboard is good enough to describe categories by the values it returns or its own occurrence. So it's still quite a valuable dashboard to help see how each categories contribute to making, to achieving the goals of this game.